And now I'd like to welcome to the program Bogusław Chrabota, Editor-in-Chief at Rzeczpospolita. Hello, thank you for joining us here on TVP World this afternoon.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you always. Thank you.
Yes, great to have you. Great to have you. So we have this Commission of Russian and Belarusian Influence just starting off. But before we get into this discussion, let's take a listen to what Donald Tusk had to say earlier.
Skład tej komisji także to potwierdzi.
The makeup of the Commission will confirm that, as we need it to be free of any purely political or party intentions and to produce independent findings. Both the administration and the public opinion deserve to know what the real threats from Belarus and Russia look like in the past and today. We know very well that these two states and their intelligence services are very active and involved in operations in Poland. Many people I've spoken with recently, whether politicians or CEOs of major IT companies, including those operating in the field of artificial intelligence, all of them are clear that Poland is the most important theater of operations for Moscow and Minsk, and not just because of its geography. The Commission will likely not be dragging its feet. We want it to begin work soon after the elections so that no one sees its efforts or its preliminary reports as part of the campaign.
Now, such a commission, do you think it's going to be effective? Do you think it's going to be potentially bipartisan, apolitical?
As you know, the news about this commission that it will act in Poland comes from the past time. That's nothing new. The news is that it gets started finally. And we know also who are the members of this commission. And this is 12 people, professionals, professors of universities, people with a huge experience in media, in security, cybersecurity, and international affairs. I personally know majority of them, and what I can say, these are not definitely politically active people. No, these are experts. So that's a good news for us. Another good news is that this commission will started its activity today, and our first report will be coming in 60 days. That's a term Mr. Tusk talked about today. This is not a long time, so means they will work in a hurry. They will divide into 3 groups responsible for media, economy, and state security. And another thing is that this is not a parliamentary commission working in open way. In fact, public opinion, including us, journalists, will have no access to activity of this commission only in a case that the chief, the boss of this committee, general of Polish secret forces will announce some news. It will have an access to what they fund. And some basic things about this commission, knowing these people and knowing their competences, I'm fully convinced that they will able to head the challenges they have, and I believe also that they will use new sophisticated and smart technologies, including AI, into activity of this commission. It was announced, by the way, by Mr. Tusk that he was talking about the state cybersecurity with representatives of big companies like Microsoft and Google. I think that the matter was collaboration also in this activity. I mean, protection of Polish public scene from the point of view of cybersecurity.
Yes, all the points you make are very interesting, but what also caught my attention is that the committee is made up of a very wide range of people, and it's great that you know a lot of them, so perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about these people, because there are some academics there, but also the range of time that we're looking at is 20 years, where the landscape of this kind of influence has changed a lot, but also we're looking at different methodologies. The Prime Minister mentioned that there will be different methodologies of investigation that are implemented. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'm not the member of this committee, so I don't know about the methodology, but I guess that they will use AI. They will have an access to, written archives of Polish institutions, different ones, and they will have an access to intelligence services also. So it's pretty wide. And what about the people who are members of this commission? I know personally some of them. The most important person probably is Mrs. Irena Lipowicz, professor of law, and the former ombudsman, the lady who was engaged in Polish public scene for a number of years. And she's really a credible person and a person of belief, and I find her really responsible. I know her for a long time, and she's really the serious, not politician, but a public person responsible for a number of things. I know also Mr. Leszczyński, Banasiński, Grzegorz Botyka, a pretty known historian who was working with Polish and Russian history for a long time. So I think that these are really professional and responsible people who monitor what happened last 20 years among Poland and Russia and Belarusia. And as Mr. Tusk said, they will not focus on the current matters. They will try to monitor what was happening in the past and has some consequences today. So it's really a huge job. The first term is pretty short, 60 days. I'm sure that after the first report, we'll have another one, maybe in another 2, 3, 4 months. But really monitoring such a matter like Polish and Russian relations from the point of view of media, of economy, politics, etc. It's really a job for Heracles, I think.
Yeah, a very daunting task, it seems, especially in such a short amount of time. And now Minister Siemoniak, also Interior Minister, Minister Coordinator of Security Services, also spoke at this press conference. So let's listen and respond to that.
This was basically a slush fund that was used to redirect money to their own people. The practice was heinous when pursued under the cover of the Justice Fund, which was designed to assist victims of serious crimes. But here, the cover used was organizing aid for Ukraine, and it definitely concealed serious irregularities. The Central Anti-Corruption Bureau will be compiling a full report for the Prime Minister on that matter. But what I can tell you right now is that the scale of the irregularities we've discovered is staggering and reaches all the way up to high-ranking officials still in charge of the country less than a year ago.
All right, so we have to go through 20 years of essentially, we have to dig up a lot of dirt, yeah? Are you familiar with the accusations that Minister Siemoniak is making?
These are not accusations for sure. That's the very beginning of a story, I think, because they monitored some prime minister's funds that were are kind of let's say reserve, financial reserve for special occasions and special targets in Poland. But this was corrupted. These are the first news, and I think that after prosecutors' investigation, we'll know much more about this concrete situation. It was a kind of not political, but financial corruption, what Siemoniak was talking about. But what about the commission as a main theme of what we speak about? This commission comes back. They will not focus on the same matters that prosecutors or courts work on. We are trying to find the roots of the problems we face today and reveal them. And just after revealing, as Tusk said, probably some of this data will be sent to prosecutor's office to start new proceedings in this. So I think it's much more historical or rooted in history challenge the Commission faces that just a common revelations of Polish services or police according to the funds lost by civil society last months and years.
But you say rooted in history, and I think, just thinking about it from the perspective of, your average poll, we're looking at 20 years back. But could you tell us perhaps, we're expecting the first reports in about 2 months' time. How quickly can we expect changes to be implemented in how things operate now? Because, we're looking at Russian and Belarusian influence, but I think the average poll really is worried about security and Russian and Belarusian influence today.
Yeah. I think that we need to share, the activity of this commission that's in charge of to reveal some the important mechanism or behaviors or news from the past, and the current activity of this government to protect the public interest from potential attacks from the east, from Belarus or from Russia. I think the situation is really hot. That's we are at war. We are at a hybrid war. So we have no tanks here. We have no troops here from the east, but we are under constant, permanent pressure of hybrid attacks on Poland, and that's another thing, another challenge for our government to spend money to build a kind of a firewall to protect us as society, state, and also private businesses from such attacks. We had a case like the attack on Polish PAP, Public News Agency, last days, and that's really important to have a professional, fully working protection from these attacks in this permanent hybrid war. The West is with Russia.
Yes, certainly, and it's going to be really important, I think, for us to know and understand exactly how the Russians are operating. You mentioned the use of AI, which is absolutely something that's dawned on me. We don't hear anything about it in these upcoming European elections. That should be an area of concern. The timeline for AGI has been pushed up almost 25 years. That'll probably be a reality within the next 3 years. It seems like that would probably be a good starting point, instead of using AI to dig up all the things from the past, but to really concentrate on that and look. I believe yesterday there was an instance in coming reports in the news that Russia is already utilizing AI to sow doubt in the Paris Olympics and to try and harm that event as much as possible. So I'm sure that we will be a victim of AI and the use of AI against us. I'm sorry I'm blabbing a little bit, but as far as proactive steps...
Every technology has both sides. From the other side, we can be victims of AI. The other side, it's a very much useful instrument for protection. So I don't find AI as a nightmare. In the case of this commission, I believe that they will use AI as a pretty fast and effective machine of joining some facts together to give us much more clear vision of what was happening last years. And I believe that these people who are experts, who are not politicians, they are not MPs, they are not just acting for the show. They are experts, known professors, known from universities, and they have a power and competency just to focus on the real matter of what we face. And the matter is not only the common conflict of between Poland and Russia, or the West and Russia these days, but what was really going on last 20, 25, maybe even 30 years, just on different fields of international context we had with the East.
Okay, thank you very much, Bogusław Chrabota, Editor-in-Chief of Rzeczpospolita Daily. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you.